Think about how perfect the world is. Everyone is on their own journey, trapped inside of a body where they can feel everything but do almost nothing. You are given just enough life to find the answer, but nothing more. When you find the answer, it has no impact on anyone else looking for their answer, other than, maybe, food for thought for them. The universe itself is just one giant question mark. Magic is impossible. The information barrier between life and afterlife is utterly immutable. Although the universe has existed for billions and billions of years, you just happen to be here now, at this time, at the end of time, not having come and gone already, as far as we know, as far as the universe allows us to know. We can never, ever know if there is life after or was life before the life we are experiencing now. There is no answer to the question, and never will be. You are born into Plato's cave, chained to watch flickering shadows on the wall, while the true forms dance just beyond the firelight. Yet, the moment you break free and glimpse the sun, the others call you mad and drag you back into comforting darkness. Descartes' cogito ergo sum grants you the one indubitable truth that you think, therefore you exist, but it also condemns you to eternal doubt about everything else, including whether the world outside your mind is anything more than a malicious demon's elaborate prank. Nietzsche warned that if you stare into the abyss long enough, the abyss stares back. Yet we must still dance upon its edge, creating our own values in a universe that offers none, lest we become the very monsters we fear. Sartre declared that existence precedes essence, meaning you are thrown into the world without a script, condemned to be free, forced to invent your own purpose, while every choice feels like a betrayal of all the lives you will never live. Camus' Sisyphus rolls his boulder uphill for eternity, knowing it will roll back down. Yet, one must imagine Sisyphus happy, because the struggle itself, absurd and pointless, is the only dignity we are ever granted. Kierkegaard spoke of the leap of faith into the absurd, yet the leap is taken alone, in trembling and fear, with no guarantee that the ground you land on was ever there to begin with. Buddha taught that life is dukkha, suffering, and the root of all suffering is attachment. Yet to detach completely is to dissolve the very self that feels the longing for release. Lao Tzu observed that the Tao that can be told is not the eternal Tao, so every word we speak about ultimate reality is already a lie, yet silence feels like surrender and speech like betrayal. Epictetus reminded us that it is not things that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Yet those opinions are the only things we truly control, and even they slip through our fingers like sand. Marcus Aurelius wrote that you have power over your mind, not outside events. Yet that power is exercised inside a body that decays, in a world that will forget your name before your bones have turned to dust. Schopenhauer saw the world as will and representation, blind insatiable striving, wearing the mask of beautiful forms. Yet the only escape is to deny the will, which feels suspiciously like denying life itself. Wittgenstein concluded that whereof one cannot speak, thereof one must be silent. So the deepest truths about ethics, God, and the self sit forever outside language, trapped in the very tool we use to reach for them. Kant revealed that we never know the noumenal world, only phenomena filtered through our own categories of space and time. Yet we are forced to act as if our moral law is universal, even while suspecting it might be a beautiful fiction. Hegel's dialectic marches history toward the absolute spirit, but you are merely a momentary thesis-antithesis pair, crushed between the gears of progress you will never live to see completed. Heidegger called it being toward death. You are the only creature that knows it will die, and that knowledge is what makes every authentic moment possible. Yet most of us flee into the they-self of idle chatter to avoid it. Simone de Beauvoir wrote that one is not born, but rather becomes a woman or any role. Yet the becoming is a lifelong project performed under the gaze of others who will never truly see you. Albert Camus, again, in The Stranger, the universe is indifferent, and the only honest response is lucid rebellion. Yet, rebellion changes nothing except the rebel's posture before the void. Heraclitus said, "You cannot step twice into the same river, for fresh waters are ever flowing. Yet your memory insists the river is still yours, trapping you in the illusion of permanence." Parmenides argued that change is impossible, that all is one unchanging being. Yet your body ages, your loves fade, and the contradiction between logic and lived experience becomes its own exquisite torture. Epicurus taught that death is nothing to us, since when we exist, death is not, and when death exists, we are not. Yet the fear of it still poisons every sunset we are lucky enough to witness. Montaigne confessed that I am myself the matter of my book, revealing that the deepest philosophy is merely autobiography. Yet even your own story feels borrowed from 1,000 forgotten voices. Pascal's wager bets everything on God because the stakes are infinite. Yet the heart remains unconvinced, leaving you suspended between calculation and genuine terror. Spinoza saw God or nature as a single infinite substance of which we are mere modes. Yet that knowledge grants no comfort when the mode called you is in pain. Leibniz assured us we live in the best of all possible worlds, where even evil serves a greater harmony, yet the tear of a single child seems to refute the entire calculus. Hume awakened Kant from his dogmatic slumber by showing that causality is mere habit, not necessity. Yet, we still flinch when the match is struck, prisoners of expectation. Russell's paradox exposed the limits of logic itself, yet we keep building logical towers toward the sky, hoping this time the foundation will hold. Gödel proved that, in any consistent formal system, there are true statements that cannot be proved, mirroring the human condition. Some truths we feel in our bones can never be demonstrated to another mind. Foucault mapped the archaeology of knowledge and the prisons of discourse. Yet, even when we see the bars, we cannot step outside the language that built them. Derrida's deference means meaning is endlessly deferred, never present, yet we speak and write anyway, chasing a presence that slips away the moment we name it. Levinas insisted that the face of the other places an infinite ethical demand upon us, yet that demand arrives while we remain locked inside our own skull, guessing at what the face truly wants. The Upanishads declare Tat Tivam Asi, thou art that, yet the realization that you are Brahman feels like waking from a dream, only to discover the dreamer was never separate from the dream. Chuangzi wondered whether he was a man who dreamed he was a butterfly, or a butterfly dreaming he was a man, leaving the question of identity forever suspended in ambiguity. Nagarjuna's emptiness shows that all phenomena lack inherent existence, yet the pain in your chest right now feels stubbornly, undeniably real. Dogen taught that practice and enlightenment are one. Yet the moment you sit in zazen seeking enlightenment, you have already missed it. Rumi wrote that you are the universe in ecstatic motion, but the motion is a whirling dervish that will one day stop, and no one can say what becomes of the dance when the music ends. Ibn Arabi's unity of being collapses all distinctions, yet lovers still ache for union that never quite arrives, and mourners still weep for separation that never quite ends. The Stoics promised apatheia, freedom from passion, yet the very promise stirs a passionate longing for tranquility that defeats itself. Locke's tabula rasa suggests we are born blank slates, yet the slate already carries the invisible ink of evolution, culture, and the sheer accident of being born here, now. Berkeley's esse est percipi, to be is to be perceived, raises the terrifying possibility that when no one is looking, you might simply cease to exist. Schleiermacher located religion in the feeling of absolute dependence, yet that dependence is felt by a creature who must pretend every day to be independent enough to get out of bed. William James described the will to believe because evidence is never enough, yet the same will that lets us believe in meaning can also manufacture the cruelest illusions. Whitehead saw reality as a process of becoming, yet each becoming perishes the instant it becomes, leaving only the faint echo of what if. Merleau-Ponty insisted that the body is not an object in the world, but our way of being in it, yet that body betrays us with every ache, reminding us we are never fully at home in the world it opens. Arendt warned of the banality of evil and the loss of the ability to think. Yet even those who think deeply still find themselves complicit in the ordinary machinery of existence. Well wrote that attention is the rarest and purest form of generosity. Yet the very act of paying attention to another's suffering risks becoming another form of self-absorption. Sioran observed that to live is to suffer, and to philosophize is merely to suffer with more elegant vocabulary. Yet we keep writing books no one will read in 1,000 years. Zapfre claimed that consciousness is an evolutionary error, a surplus of awareness that should have been fatal. Yet here we are, using that error to lament the error itself. Ligotti's conspiracy of the universe is that it has conspired to make us aware enough to know we should never have been made aware at all. You inherit 13.8 billion years of cosmic evolution, only to spend most of it worrying about groceries, taxes, and whether your socks match, then die before the universe bothers to notice you were ever here. In the end, every philosopher from Thales to the present has handed you the same quiet, terrible gift. The realization that the search for meaning is itself the only meaning there is, and that this search, like every other human endeavor, will one day stop, leaving the universe exactly as indifferent and perfect as it was before you began. You are granted senses sharp enough to perceive beauty in a sunset or the sound of rain, yet those same senses flood you with the constant ache of hunger, pain, and exhaustion, reminders that your body is a fragile machine demanding maintenance just to keep the observer alive. Time flows only forward, letting you watch every moment slip away forever. But it grants you just enough memory of the past to regret it, and just enough imagination of the future to dread it. Never enough to truly escape the present. Love feels like the closest thing to merging two isolated minds. Yet even in the deepest embrace, you remain trapped behind your own eyes, forever guessing what the other person is truly thinking, feeling, or hiding. The planet is overflowing with resources and wonders, but accessing any of them requires endless small surrenders, trading hours of your finite life for pieces of paper that someone else decided hold value. Your brain can simulate entire universes in daydreams and stories, yet the moment you try to bring one single imagined thing into solid reality, the universe pushes back with physics, entropy, and the sheer stubbornness of matter. We evolve language so intricate that we can write symphonies of words about the meaning of life, yet the most important truths, grief, joy, awe, dissolve the instant you try to hand them to someone else. Every night, you are given a free 8-hour vacation into wild, impossible worlds inside your own skull. Yet you wake up with almost no souvenirs and no way to prove any of it was real to the waking world. The same laws of physics that let you build rockets and cure diseases also guarantee that one day those same laws will dismantle the very atoms that make up your ability to care about any of it. You are born with an insatiable hunger for answers to the biggest questions, but the universe is rigged so that every answer you find simply unlocks 10 more doors, each leading deeper into the unknown. Billions of years of cosmic evolution conspired to create a creature capable of asking, "Why am I here?" and then arranged it so that the only honest answer is a quiet, personal shrug that no one else will ever fully understand. Seek the level of happiness where you get openly excited when something rhymes, and you have to gleefully repeat it several times. Life is beautiful, and so